Beloved Creator, source of all that is, we express gratitude for every day we experience and every breath in it. Many of us know why we are here. Many of us know what compels us to take action. And many more, it seems, are simply here doing what they do and living their life freely given without purpose or intent. Those of us aware, we express great appreciation for our attunement and our willingness to take action. Keep us on track to always do what is right for the greater good and guide us to whatever correction needs to be made. With your grace and the inherent love we all carry, we will proceed. Let it be so, and so it is.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. We've been talking about recruiting lately, and I ran across a phrase that just kind of rings clear with me. I think they called it the self-organizing collective. So I looked up what that meant on the internet and got several different opinions. But it seems that an idea about a jurisdiction and a thought could pass through the strata of the percent of the population that it takes to move the to raise the game. And if enough of the people have the same thought all at the same time, really fabulous things happen. So that's the part I want to talk about. To me, it's simple arithmetic. You read the documents that we're using as a table, a platform, a mesa that we can call law. And we all agree on that. I've tested this out. Almost anybody you talk to. Thomas Negan's an exception. But most of the people you talk to, and even a lot of the persons you talk to, will agree that the Constitution of, or the Constitution for, or the Constitution, or some form of that document, they'll agree that that's law. Then the next thing is most of the people will agree that there was the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments of it, that passed into law, that actually happened. And most people will agree that the 10-mile square for Washington District of Columbia and the foreign soil from all of the several states, that piece of dirt was designated and laid out, and all of the steps of the final article to the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union, all of that stuff had been fulfilled. They had done it, taken it from the king and made their own United States and made 13 states. Rhode Island was a little reluctant, but they fell in line. And Bobby mentioned something earlier today. Vermont was a state. Vermont was a state in the wilderness. They made their own state, wasn't one of the original colonies, and they were an independent nation. before there was a Washington, D.C., and they were the first independent nation, state, to join the Union. Then all the rest of them came in from territory, mostly. So then you get to the point where is the level that people can agree is law, and who has it, and what's original jurisdiction, and that is defined as people comprehending that they are Article 1, Section 1. And I love it. I wish Cynthia was here. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right. Well, here on Oregon, we said, okay, and we did that. We didn't just read it or think it was nice words. We actually formed the social compact and went through all the trouble to have all of the entities in the de facto that we were resisting, had all of them acknowledge that we were here and we were this group. That all power is inherent in the people, and we're that group, and that all free governments are founded on their authority, yes, they are, and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness. We have lost peace, safety, and happiness from this iteration of governance out of Salem. It's gone. So we have sheriffs that are part of that iteration of oligarchy that's operating out of Salem. And the self-organizing collective on Oregon that's going through the Republican Party and is going through all the people that have been involved in people's rights and somebody's persistent. So that strata of self-organizing collective that's going on and the changing of the guard, so to speak, that's going through the Republican Party. And I don't think that the lefties can go any further left till they even realize they're wrong. And they'll understand that in no way is there any constitutionality of anything going on in the current governance. It's just not happening. We can't even get the sheriffs to take a proper oath. We went to their convention in Bend. There were 6 of us there. And all we wanted to do was talk to them. We bought a membership. We bought a membership in their Leo Club. We bought lunch for 6. We were there to lobby in a really nice way, and they threw us out. And they know who we are, and they've been dealing with us for years, and they don't want to. They, as a group, as an association, want to remain with the de facto. They want to be there. It's not like they don't know what's going on. That's not it. They do know, and they are party to it. And that's where they want to be. And we have to confront all of them, I think. Look them in the eye in groups of 4, which is a court, 3 tribunals, and a clerk. And that court has to extract from that sheriff and all the rest of them a proper oath to the proper constitutions, with God included. And it's written out a specific way, nature's law and nature's God, I believe is the quote. That's how it has to happen, and that's where the break is going to be. And we have to do it 36 times on Oregon. Now, I think, I don't know, but the preponderance of information leads me to believe that every time you punch them, the one that receives the punch folds. When Charlie punched the woman, I think her name was Martha, that was the Chief Justice of the Oregon Supreme Court, when Charlie served papers on her, she resigned. And we have to start all over again if we want to go down that route again. But they fold. When we go against them, they lock the doors and pull down the blinds. They do not want to contact or contract with us. So how do we get past that? So I think it's in groups of 4. Let's say you had a group of 4. They met for breakfast and they had all the proper papers in their hand, and they went and visited the sheriff, the presiding judge in their local courthouse. Should be a county courthouse, and it should be an original jurisdiction, and the DA, and served the papers on all 3 of them, that this court is here to hear them in common law give their oath. It has to be done out loud, and it can't be done in front of a judge. No elections clerk can sign the document saying that you've taken a proper oath. It's bogus. You can't show those things. They show them and they have to eat them because they're bogus. Just like the chief in Newburgh. He brought his document out, and in his own document, he reads it and he realizes it does not meet the requirements. That's the best he's got. They won't even talk to us at the state police. State police are the ones that murdered Robert Lavoie Finicum, and we don't think that was a good deal. State police, yeah, they have no elected authority whatsoever. So back to groups of 4, a court. As it currently stands, we have 13 clerks of court, and we have 2 marshals, marshal and deputy marshal. So we can, just in the action committee, field 13 courts, but we have to find 3 more to go with each one of those clerks that are knowledgeable, that actually comprehend what's going on in law, in de facto, in de jure, and how intricate and diabolical this whole thing that we're uncovering is. And it's just not Oregon, it's everywhere. But only Oregon can be cured by Oregonians. We cannot cure the folks in Washington. They got to do that themselves. And there's good people there that are working on it. We're doing Oregon. So this is a recruitment. Yeah, this is a recruitment video for knowledgeable people on each of the 36 counties to combine in groups of 3, and we'll provide a clerk for your court, and we will do the work that is required. The work of the court in matters of over $20 has to be done by a jury. So the court has to find the information, find out what it is, and present it to the jury. We don't use cops to do that. That comes with those that have to enforce. We don't have to enforce. When the court looks at whoever it is, right in their own building, right in their own eye, there you are, here's our court, where's your bona fides? You don't have them. You have to leave your office. It's foregone conclusion. You have violated the de jure requirements of your office. And if they don't, we post it on their own bulletin board. But it's a long ways from Athens, Tennessee to make this happen. It's not that difficult. And when all of these things are going along, like my dog barking, Ben Edel, I think, is a guy that should probably get on board with this. I think the Bundys ought to get on board with it and get the states to the point where, just a moment. We just can't do it all. We can only do Oregon, and we're doing Oregon very well. Not as fast as we'd like, but very well. We have Eric Dover, Ed. On the leading edge, I think, of what's going on in the medical industry that has been taken over by the de facto. I think he's as knowledgeable in that as is available in the medical world. And he's pretty smart. We have good medical support within our group. So that strata that it seems the spearhead of the de facto to continue to wipe out this society as we have it. I don't know how deep that goes, but if the Georgia Guidestones are right and the actuaries for the insurance companies are right, the die-off is going to happen this year, and the results of the will be pretty much known when 25 gets here. That's not very far away. It'd be really good if we could turn this thing, this self-organizing collective, if we could turn that into uh, a small ripple, a little wave. It doesn't have to be huge, just enough to raise it and move it. I think that's all that has to happen. If one person in one really obvious place, such as a sheriff, and it may not even be on Oregon, it could be someplace else, would make a big deal about the difference between de facto and de jure and God and no God and Constitution and no Constitution, I think that that level could bring us up. So that's why I'm recruiting. We have to do Oregon, and so therefore the task is in front of us. So we might as well just do it while we're waiting for the rest of them to rise up into this self-organizing collective where we think we can actually turn the switch and make it happen. And a major ripple of 36 sheriffs taking an actual oath to the actual constitutions with God included. That's not such a huge goal that it's so daunting we can't do it. So that's the reason for this recruiting video. And I yield.
Conspirators, all persons employed by or associated with police, sheriffs, marshals, and others of that ilk on Oregon, operating in the de facto incorporated governance of Article 7 amended, either self-correct to the de jure Article 7 original, or be tried in our de jure civilian court of record with a true bill from our grand jury. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
Returning to a de jure government after more than 100 years of deceit due to Article 7 amended is difficult, and we put forward our best effort. Article 1, Section 1, Natural Rights Inherent in People. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority, and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, and they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper. That's from the Oregon Constitution. When referring to the First and Second Amendments of the United States of America's Constitution, free speech and the right to bear arms has somehow gotten twisted in the minds of the general public to be considered extreme conservatism. That very perception is the result of the intensive programming wrought on the people by those who choose politics over the United States of America's Constitution. Since when is upholding the original, the United States of America's Constitution, have been increasingly trampled? Oh, and its Bill of Rights associated with extreme conservatism. These first two amendments to the Constitution have been increasingly trampled, increment by increment. A little bit here, a little more there. So here we are, decades and generations later, oblivious to the overreach and downright ignorance of this sacred document that has kept this nation as intact as it has prevailed, despite constant onslaughts.
Article 1, Section 1 of Oregon's Constitution, natural rights inherent in people. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, and they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up.
And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.